Marketing Edge on TV is Nigeria's leading initiative in the business of brand management and in the management of brand business. It is a 30-minute awesome package that comprises brand news, branding focus, and industry conversation, all in a mix, encompassing thorough and in-depth analysis aimed at promoting the brand idea. My name is Babumi Agbibi. Welcome to the program.
Marketing Edge on TV, promoting the brand idea.
We begin with brand news, where we bring you the latest developments around brands and in the field of marketing and advertising in Nigeria and around the world. The federal government has inaugurated a new advertising offences tribunal to strengthen accountability in Nigeria's advertising industry. Speaking in Abuja, Information Minister Mohammed Idris charged the panel to uphold fairness, integrity, and impartiality in handling violations under the Akon Act. With that, Akon Director General Olale Konfadolakpo described the tribunal as a landmark step in enforcing advertising regulations. The panel is chaired by Justice Cecilia Olatoregun. Brenda Nwagwu has made history as the first elected female president of the Media Independent Practitioners Association of Nigeria, MIPAN. Nwagwu, founder and chief executive officer of QVT Media, emerged at the association's 2026 AGM in Ogun State, succeeding Duzi Okafor. Meanwhile, delivering the keynote, Extreme Ideas Group Chief Executive Officer Steve Babaeko challenged media practitioners to move beyond traditional media transactions and take ownership of Nigeria's data, consumer insights, and local realities. He warned that as AI and automation reshape media buying, industry players must build value around what technology cannot easily replicate. The global brand licensing market is on course for strong growth, rising from about $304 billion in 2024 to $490.7 billion by 2034. According to market research, the sector is projected to grow at a 4.9% annual rate, driven by brands seeking new revenue streams and access to wider consumer markets. Meanwhile, entertainment remains the leading application, while apparel continues to dominate product licensing. However, legal complexities and counterfeit products remain key challenges to market expansion. The global human resource management market is projected for major expansion, with its value expected to surge from $24.15 billion in 2023 to $88.23 billion by 2033. According to Spherical Insights and Consulting, the market will grow at a compound annual rate of 13.83%, driven by rising demand for automation, artificial intelligence, and cloud-based HR solutions. Still, software remains the leading component, while large enterprises account for the biggest market share. Regionally, North America is expected to maintain market leadership. However, Asia-Pacific is forecast to record the fastest growth, propelled by digitalization, remote work, and workforce analytics.
Marketing Edge on TV, promoting the brand idea.
That was brand news. Next is branding focus after this break.
Every day, millions of Nigerians walk past your next customer. The question is, can they see you? Nimbus Media puts your brand exactly where Nigeria is already looking. High-impact digital screens inside shopping malls, supermarkets, gyms, and the busiest locations across Nigeria. From billboards to brand activations, we make sure you show up and show up boldly. We've helped brands launch, grow, and become the name people remember in the moments that matter the most. Your audience is already out there. It's time they found you. Nimbus Media. Visibility. Done right. Book your campaign today at nimbus.com.ng.
Marketing Edge on TV, promoting the brand idea.
Now, brand in focus. Nigeria's fintech sector is reshaping the nation's economy, driving financial inclusion and digital innovation. From less than 30% of adults using non-bank services a decade ago, fintech revenue is surged to over $543 million. The growth was boosted by the 2022 Naira redesign, smartphone adoption, and mobile money platforms. Nigeria now leads Africa in tech investment, attracting nearly two-thirds of $3 billion invested in African startups in 2022. Fintech goes beyond payment, helping small businesses, farmers, and youth access financial services. Experts say the sector faces challenges, including rural connectivity and smartphone access, but with supportive regulation and a young, tech-savvy population, Nigeria's fintech revolution shows no signs of slowing.
Marketing Edge on TV, promoting the brand idea.
That was Branding Focus. Next is Industry Conversation, where we discuss with industry thought leaders who have distinguished themselves and have made tremendous impacts in their chosen field. Join us after this break.
Marketing Edge on TV, promoting the brand idea.
When I say golden, you say penny. When I say golden, you say penny. Golden penny, golden penny. Wake up to breakfast with my golden penny. I do enjoy my first choice, nourishing goodness every morning. Oh, Cabina play, yummy dishes every day. Mama's recipe they upgrade. Oh, when she's using golden penny. Quality we deliver. Crunchy snacks, golden penny. Serving happiness, nourishing. Golden penny, yummy golden penny, delicious golden penny. Yummy golden penny, delicious golden penny.
Golden Penny, home of good foods. Serving happiness, nourishing families. Yum!
Marketing Edge on TV, promoting the brand idea.
On Industry Conversation today, my guest is the Vice President and Agency Lead, Beam Creative IMC, Anthony Onyemauwa. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Pleasure is mine.
Let's get straight into the advertising and integrated marketing communication space. What's your assessment of the industry today in Nigeria?
Well, the industry is a very vibrant one, although it's fraught with a lot of challenges in recent times. Particularly, when you look at the fact that increasingly marketing budgets are shrinking, increasingly experienced and competent professionals are leaving the space. They're leaving the space because of the advent of things like fintech, remote work, AI, a lot of that. So when you combine those factors and a couple of other factors, those things actually comprise what you want to see as challenges the business or the industry is facing. But by and large, I think it's still a very viable industry. It's still an industry that's doing well. It's an industry that's been, in recent times, they've been winning more awards from the agency side. There's been more representation on the global, at the global level. There are more creative, award-winning works coming out. So if you want to look at it from the perspective of how well is it doing, I think it's doing well, but it has the challenges I just mentioned, the challenges of professionals leaving, bad marketing budgets shrinking. But by and large, I think it's not in decline. It's doing well. It's stable.
Like you said, marketing budgets shrinking. You agree that the marketing budgets are tighter these days and they're under pressure. Now, our agencies helping clients still achieve better results despite this challenge?
So marketing budget shrinking is expected because, we are taught in economics that human wants are endless, but the means of satisfying them are limited. Okay, so when you have more businesses coming up and they're still targeting the same number, the same population, of course, you have less and less to work with. So what are agencies doing to work with that limited marketing budget? Number one, performance marketing. Agencies are increasingly having to be able to justify every kobo they spend, every cent they spend. So looking at performance marketing, they are also looking at how can they use AI and the technological advancements to justify, particularly data, using data to justify why X amount of marketing budget should be spent on why campaign and all of that. So there's performance marketing, there's using data. Then also agencies are also looking at, instead of doing just advertising or PR or marketing, we are looking increasingly at agencies doing integrated marketing communications, meaning you're having all of these aspects of marketing being provided, together as a bundle for the clients, ensuring that the client has better value for the money they spend. So if you look at these three things: performance marketing, data, and IMC, providing a bundle as against just providing advertising or providing media planning, these three things, I think agencies are doing, to ensure that they can get better bang for the marketing budgets of the clients, however small it is.
Now, looking ahead, what's your outlook for advertising spend for the remaining months of this year? And how does it compare with the first half of 2026?
The first half of 2026 has been sluggish, has been slow. Clients or marketing or brands or businesses have not really been spending like they're expected to spend, and it's very understandable seeing the economic temperature of the economy. However, going into the second half of the year, I expect that there will be more spending. It will still be cautious, but there will be more. But when I say more, I'm not just talking about more as in just making available more money to spend on anything, but I'm thinking there will be more strategic, looking at specific, specific things they can do with the money that will give them better value for the spend. So I think there will be more spending, because if you look at it, always second half of the year there are more economic activities. Consumers are more open to spending. It's a time where there's usually more spending from the consumer end. So I think brands and businesses will be looking to take advantage of that, but they'll be strategic about it. So while they're losing their purse a little bit, they will still be strategic about what they're losing the purse for. If you get my drift.
Yeah, I do. So there's growing pressure on return on investment. Brands want to see the results of what they've invested in, which is understandable. But would you agree that sales should be the only indicator of this investment to show it has been successful?
Well, ideally for any business enterprise, the whole point of investing in marketing or trying to do any sort of activity to get customers in is basically to sell. However, marketing goes beyond selling. Marketing actually is not even selling. Marketing is a bigger thing. So you're looking at brand awareness, you are looking at engagement, you are looking at a lot of things. So I would think that if you really want to measure how well advertising or a campaign has worked, using sales alone is not enough. It depends on what was the objective of the campaign. A campaign's objective may be to sell. A campaign's objective may be to get visibility, to have more awareness, to have more engagement. So if the aim of that or the objective of the campaign is to have more people know about the brand but not necessarily buy the brand, it will be unfair to judge or measure the success of that campaign using sales, because that was never the objective. However, if the objective of the campaign is specifically to get products or goods out the door into customers or the consumer's hands, then of course you can use sales specifically as a means to measure it.
When you say sales specifically, do you mean sales alone or sales majorly and maybe other indicators?
No, like I said earlier, it's about the objective of the campaign.
Yeah.
So for example, if I have 2,000 boxes I want to sell, and I want to sell 2,000 boxes. Today is the whatever the date is. I want to sell 1,000 boxes in 2 weeks' time. If in 2 weeks' time I sell 1,000 boxes, but I have 5,000 people who know about me now, who may buy down the line. By the time the timeline I have terminates, if all I've sold is 1,000 boxes, from a target, an objective point of view, I have not succeeded. However, from a bigger, perspective, long term, even though I've sold 1,000, I've only been able to sell 1,000 within the time limit I've given myself. There's a very high likelihood that in the next 2 weeks or 1 month, I might even sell 4,000 more. So that is why I spoke about the objective. So if I have a timeline, I have a date, I have a specific period by which X amount needs to be sold, and that amount is not sold, on the basis of that, the campaign may not have been a success. However, if I say I want to sell, and I want to be able to sell X amount, and I did not sell up to that X amount, but I know within the next week or month I will exceed what I set out to sell, then I can't completely call it a failure. So like I said earlier, it's about the objective. What is the objective? If the objective to sell within a period of time, then sales should be used as a means of measuring it. Why? Because everything in marketing is built around timelines. That's why in marketing and in the business space, the year is broken into quarters. You have Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. So, and in some businesses, you have a budget, you must spend it all in Q1. You cannot have it spill over in Q2. If you don't finish your spending in Q1, in Q2 you can't use that money. It's money lost. Same way, if you have a sales target you need to meet by Q1, if you don't meet by Q1, even if the projection is that you exceed your target in Q2, as far as Q1 is concerned, you have not succeeded. It's a function of the objective of the campaign, always.
Industry experts now argue that creative effectiveness and media effectiveness should no longer be measured separately. Do you agree?
Yes, I agree. They should no longer be measured separately. Why? Because they are in the present economic space we are now, they are both codependent. So you have creative effectiveness, you have media effectiveness. If you have a great creative and you use the wrong media, it's like what you say in advertising, that not advertising is like winking at a woman in the dark. You know you are winking, but she can't see you. So the whole purpose of winking is lost. So you have a great creative, your creative is effective, but you put it wrong media, of course the creative will just die. It's like driving a Lamborghini in Lagos traffic. It's Lamborghini, it can speed, it should be on a highway, but it will be a waste of space because you're not putting it in a space where it can actually achieve its true potential. So I strongly believe that creative effectiveness and media effectiveness should be married, it should be measured together. It can't be measured separately. You have a good creative, but to make it work, you have to put in the right media. If you have the right media, but you have the bad creative will perform poorly, even though it's in the right media. So I think both of them should be measured together.
You frequently advocate for data-driven decision making. Now, are Nigerian brands making enough use of consumer data, or are too many decisions still based on instinct?
If I must be honest, before now, a lot of decisions made by Nigerian brands were made either based on experience, personal experience, industry experience, gut feeling, or what we call native intelligence. I just get that feeling. In the past, we worked with that, and it's always found out 9 times out of 10 it was always correct. But because of the advent of digital, increasingly there is a need and a call for data to be used, and a lot of data is being used now because data does not lie. With data, what you see is what you get. So increasingly data is being used as a means of deciding, making decisions, important decisions for businesses, for brands, for campaigns, and what have you. But still, there are still a lot of, particularly the older guys, who still base their decisions on gut feelings, on native intelligence, on personal experience they've had over the years. But I think the younger guys and a couple of the older ones who are more open to digital are beginning to appreciate the need to use data. In many industries, or let me not say many industries, in a couple of industries where the business is heavily based on digital, data is used for decision making. So you cannot make any decisions in a space like e-commerce without using data. You cannot make a decision in a space like telecom without using data. because the data is coming in every day. You know who's buying, who's not buying. You know how many for e-commerce. You know how many people shopped, how many people are returning customers, how many carts were left unattended, how many carts were pending for 1 week. The data is there, so it helps you make decisions. So I think for the older folk, some of them still make decisions based on gut feeling or native intelligence, but increasingly more professionals and businesses are becoming open to using data as a means, of guiding decision making.
Talking about technology, artificial intelligence is now transforming creativity, media buying, and customer engagement. Now, how can agencies embrace AI without losing the human touch?
Okay, I always tell anybody that cares to hear, cares to listen, that AI can never replace the professional, in the sense that I see AI as an enablement. AI is supposed to be something that enables you to do your work better. So AI cuts down time. It helps you automate repetitive tasks. But AI cannot replace human empathy, cannot replace the way people speak. AI can never replace that. They have the nuances, they have their pop culture. There are things that AI cannot replace. So I think that, number one, AI should not be seen as as something that's coming to replace something. No, AI will provide data for you. AI will provide information for you. AI will cut down on repetitive tasks, routine tasks, and all of that. However, the strategic thinking, the human element, the understanding of the society, feelings, and all of that is still something that AI cannot, replace. So I think what professionals are doing now, how they are leveraging AI, basically is to say, okay, what are those things that AI can help us do better? Can AI can help do a lot of research. AI can do tons of research in minutes, if not seconds, for you. Okay, so they are looking at how they can use AI to do lots of research. They are using AI to do all those tasks that normally you would do again and again, auto repetitive tasks, but that is where AI stops. After that, the part that has to do with thinking, analytical thinking, understanding the consumer, understanding the market, and all of that is still a purely human thing. So I think professionals are using AI at the moment for what it ought to be used, and those who are concerned that AI would replace them probably are not really I'm sorry to say, not really good enough. But if you know your onions, and if you know your onions, you would know that AI is supposed to be a tool to help you, to that you can actually use to make better decisions, you can use to work faster, work smarter, but it cannot completely replace you as a professional.
So I want to put you on the spot, a quick yes or no. Do you believe in pitching?
Yes.
Okay, so is the current pitching process, is it fair? And do you think agencies should be compensated for the intellectual property they present during pitching?
Pitching, anything that involves human beings can never be 100% fair.
Okay.
We only strive to be as fair as we can, but it can't be 100% fair because I've been in this industry now. This is about my 19th year, and I've been on the agency side, I've been on the client side. Now I manage an agency again. So I've been on both sides of the divide, and I've gone for pitches as an agency. I've overseen pitches on the client side. So I know that as much as we try to be pragmatic about the process, there's still the place for the way humans will think, like having preferences and all that based on whatever reason. Then on the matter of paying for, you talk about paying
compensation for presenting.
Yeah, I strongly believe in paying compensation. Why? Because when agencies go for pitching, they go all out. Resources are expended to put together the deck that is presented. Team members are taking off existing tasks that bring in revenue to focus on this one with the hope of bringing a business. So I would think that ab initio, when these guys are engaged, it should be made clear that, hey, we are engaging only 4 agencies to pitch. The succeeding agency will get the accounts. However, the other 3, if you don't get the accounts, we're going to pay you a completion fee for XYZ. What does that do? It ensures that everybody goes all in, or rather goes all out, puts in their best, knowing that the worst that can happen is, oh, if we don't get it, at least we get compensated, but we do our best to get it. I know some people also think that, oh, if they are compensated, they may think that, okay, we'll just do what we can and then we'll just get the compensation and we don't have to stress so much. But more often than not, agencies who go for pitches, those pitches because they desire to get the accounts and they go all out. So I strongly opine that agencies should get compensated for pitches when they do not, succeed. Or perhaps a middle ground can be, we have a scoring system. Okay, there are 4 of you or 5 of you pitching. We'll have a scoring system. The winner gets the accounts. Of the remaining 4 of you, any of the agencies that score above a particular threshold will get compensated. You're not getting the account, but you get compensated, and then the others will go. So that will ensure that people don't do shoddy work, hoping that, okay, we'll just get something. Whether we get selected or not, we'll get something. So that will be a fair ground for both the client and the agency, ensuring that the client gets the best possible work, and the agency also put their best foot forward. Okay, so I think that's what about it.
Okay, thank you very much. The conversation continues next time, but you can join us on our website. It's www.marketingedge.com.ng and all our social media platforms at Marketing Edge. My name is Bababumi Agbibi.